And a good Friday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining for this tropical update. Of course, we're still tracking potential tropical cyclone number 3 out there in the Gulf of Mexico. Currently, the National Hurricane Center still has it as just a potential tropical cyclone. How you doing, Kim? Good to see you on here right now. Thanks for joining. They have not found anything that indicates this is officially a depression or a tropical storm just yet. But as I've been saying over the last couple of nights and the last couple of days, the even if it is going to be upgraded at some point, it's not going to change the impacts that we could see, across the area. And I do have my 6-year-old Jake. He wanted to join me today. Jake is coming here and say hi, maybe a little bit. Here he is.
Hi.
He's just sitting here. He wanted to see how it's, how it's all done. So he will sit there and quietly observe the magic here as we do this hurricane forecast. So everybody say hi to Jake. Give him a nice welcome. All right, so he's a ham. He wants to get in the camera. So here's the latest on potential tropical cyclone. How you doing, Barbara? Thanks for joining from Slidell. So as you can see on the satellite imagery today, we're seeing. How you doing, Michelle, from the Panhandle of Florida? As you can see on the satellite imagery, we certainly have a little bit of, I would say a tropical look to it. Maybe you see some sort of spin there. We're not seeing storms wrapping around the center of circulation at this point like we'd normally see with a with a stronger hurricane. The center of circulation, you can see some kind of spinning happening in here, and that's really where the actual center is located. But what you're noticing, and what I've been telling y'all for the last couple of nights, is that we're not going to see that happen. Those storms wrap around the center. All this is going to be to the east of the center. So normally you'd see storms all in this vicinity. But like I said, with this type of storm in June, a lot of times that left side, it's kind of naked on this storm. So there's not much happening over here. So that's the reason I've been mentioning that if you're on the western side of this, I drew kind of a line in the page the other night. And if you're west of it, you're good. I mean, you're not going to see much weather from this at all. You might see a couple of little spotty showers spinning around it. But other than that, not really much. You're looking good on that side. You'll probably have a nice little north wind, and it won't even be that bad of a day for today or even tomorrow, too. The eastern side's a different story. That's where all this mess is located. That's where all the rainfall is. And all this is going to be pushing up to the north as we go through the rest of today. And, and into portions of early tomorrow as well. And so that's where the rainfall totals could start to add up along portions of the Gulf Coast. That where it's all going to fall, it's not 100% yet, but I'll show you the modeling, and it's becoming a little more clear of where we could see the most of the rainfall develop and fall over the next 24 hours or so. Let me switch over to the current radar real quick, and I can show you what we're looking at there. And there you go. So notice the western side there. We're talking probably areas. Let me switch over so we can see the city names, right? So, we see like a spotty shower there around Gonzales, stretching over south of Baton Rouge. But other than that, west of here, west of Baton Rouge and over towards southeast Texas, you're good. Nothing really going to have to worry about with this, with this storm. But notice on the eastern side, I'd say areas there from really New Orleans and then stretching off to the east. All that south there is going to be moving to the north. And although this storm is not going to stall, it's not going to stop by any means, it's not going to be moving like zooming through either. It's kind of going to be an average speed here. So all this is going to move through. It's not going to go fast. And so that's why we could see these totals start to add up in some areas. But we're not going to see a stalling situation like we saw with, Harvey and I think even Imelda a couple of years ago. That's not the type of situation we have with this one. It's not going to be a fast mover. It's also not going to be a very slow mover, but it is going to take its time, as it comes through. But all this rainfall is going to have to push through, and that's going to happen later this evening and heading into tonight as well. And it does appear that areas, I would say New Orleans is still really on that fringe. I don't think New Orleans is going to see the excessive rain numbers, but areas east of there, Mississippi Gulf Coast, Gulfport, Biloxi, over toward Mobile, and even stretching into Pensacola. Remember, this storm was always going to be heavily stacked east of the center. And so these areas are the ones that have to be concerned as these storms do make their way in. And again, you see the red colors and the oranges in there embedded in this tropical mess that's going to be moving north. And that's moderate to even heavy rainfall at times. It's not there just yet, but that is going to be moving north as we head through the day. The actual identification of this thing, right now it's still a potential tropical cyclone. If it's named Claudette or depression later, again, not going to change anything. It's just going to take up a name, and that's all it's going to do. The classification will not mean a thing with this as it does move in. You can see the convection here kind of firing. Remember we talked about last night if you were on the page. We saw it kind of die out a little bit as we went to the overnight hours, and that's pretty typical. We get a little bit of heat in the day now, and now we're starting to see those storms fire back up. Let me switch that back over. There you go. There's the infrared satellite picture. So we kind of saw that start to fire back up today. And so what happens and what becomes a little bit concerning is, imagine you have like a hose down here, right? And you start to see this fire hose kind of effect start to take place where it's shooting the kind of the convection out. And that's where it becomes a little bit concerning here, because you have the upper level, the upper levels that are, if you go to this Mardi Gras map, I like to call it, with the purple, green, and gold colors, you have this big trough over here, and that's kind of helping to kind of spread out in the mid levels there, but that helps to fire off the convection. That's what we're going to see as we move into tonight. That southwest flow knocking all these storms and causing all that rainfall in that particular area. And so those circled areas there are probably the concerning spots, moving through the rest of today and into early tomorrow. That area circled there, I would say, is where we're going to see the most of the rainfall. Now, the other thing I saw today, and again, this is from the National Hurricane Center. There's the cone, by the way. Not really important because remember, it's not going to be a devastating wind impact here, but it gives you the general direction of where this thing's going to be headed. So the only thing important about the cone here is to remember is, where does the center come in? And remember, east. Everything over here is fine. The storms are going to be well east. So if the center comes in here, we're going to see a lot of rainfall coming in this direction. If it would be a little bit, look, there's really not much margin for error here. It's going to be making landfall probably later tonight. Late in the overnight hours, maybe around midnight. Who knows? We'll have to see that. But there's not much deviation, is my point. Like, it's not going over here. So we're kind of locked in. It could take the western side of the track, but what would that really do? Not too much. We see the moisture. We see it all coming up to the north now, and we know kind of where it's gonna kind of land, and who might see the worst of the rainfall. This is the National Hurricane Center's kind of prediction there as far as rainfall goes. Now, this is the first time we've seen these red colors appear on this map, and the red colors represent 10 to 15 inches of rainfall. Okay, so that is kind of the area I was just kind of outlining there. I would say somewhere in here. So Alabama, Mississippi Gulf Coast, and again, could it stretch over? Look, even if you're in that orange color, you're 6 to 10 inches. So orange and red in these areas here, anywhere probably from 6 to 15 inches of rainfall in the next 24 hours or so from this system. So keep that in mind. This is the first time we've seen the red color drawn by the National Hurricane Center. And I think it's because some of the modeling, if I show you the GFS model, this was the thinking here. And I think that's probably why they upped their numbers as well. This is the latest from the GFS, and you can see that in there. That's 16.9 inches of rainfall potentially, and again, that would be along the Mississippi Gulf Coast and potentially stretching close there to Mobile as well. So that looks like now that's kind of the bullseye areas. So you create kind of a line here as this moves through. So between those pink lines is really where we might see most of this rainfall start to drop as we go into tonight. Now the hope is that maybe it won't be that bad, that, we get these storms moving in, and hopefully, we don't get these numbers. We don't want 16.9 inches of rain to fall, in a spot over the next 24 to 36 hours. That wouldn't be good. That would probably cause some flash flooding in some areas. But this is the highest number I've seen personally since we started tracking this particular system, and that's from the GFS. So that's just one model, though. The other models are still kind of in the 7 to 8 inch range, which is still a lot, but obviously that can be handled a little bit more than a 16.9 number. A lot of folks follow the page from Southeast Louisiana, and again, very much on the fringes here of rainfall, right? Because these yellow colors are right here. Now, if the track would go a little bit more west, would these stretch that way? Maybe. But right now, I think Southeast Louisiana, New Orleans area may not be too bad. Yes, we're going to see rainfall in Southeast Louisiana, but as long as we can stay close to the center and not well east of the center, I don't think we'll get the excessive numbers. Now, we'll have to watch that because it's again, not much margin for error. One shift west a little bit, one shift east, that can change these numbers and take the heaviest rainfall amounts east or west. So we'll have to see how this develops. Again, it's not a very predictable, well-developed storm, obviously. Still a little bit erratic out there. Probably see a couple of wobbles. So something to watch as we go into tonight. Again, one thing's for sure, starting to kind of see, and again, this is what I didn't want to see here, is the kind of that fire hose look where you start to see storms just firing off and all this is moving in this direction as the storm moves in that direction as well. So saw some issues with that, I believe, a couple of years ago in, I forget the name of the storm. It was around like South Carolina where something just kind of set up off the coast and it just continued to pummel and drop a lot of rainfall. So I'm hoping that won't be the scenario here. But the bottom line is that the only place for this stuff to go that's in the Gulf right now is north. And it's going to be moving north. And the hope is that we don't get all that heavy rainfall falling in one area and kind of see that training set up. So that's my concern, and something I'll continue to watch as we head through today, is where's the worst of the rainfall going to set up. Because like I said from the beginning of this thing, that was always going to be the biggest threat from this system. It wasn't going to be the winds. It wasn't really going to be the surge. It was going to be the rainfall potential. So we'll see where that sets up. But again, that's kind of where we're seeing it right now. Is going to be in this kind of circled area right now. But again, any shift left or right will move these numbers left and right as well. If we see any flash flooding from this is from the National Hurricane Center, it would most likely occur in that red area. That's the moderate chance for flash flooding associated with this system, right? So that's, again, the fringes of Southeast Louisiana, portions of the North Shore stretching into coastal Mississippi, into coastal Alabama, and into the Florida Panhandle as well. But then stretching northward too, as the storm begins to move in that direction, there's a chance for some flooding rains. But on the immediate coast, we're looking Southeast Louisiana on the fringe there and over toward the Florida Panhandle on the eastern side of that as well. So keep that in mind. That red area kind of indicates where we would, most likely see the flash flooding if it does occur. There's a live look at Fort Walton Beach in Florida right now. You can see the obviously some ominous skies there in the distance as the tropical system's lurking offshore, or a potential tropical system, right? Not even an official one, although that won't change anything. But yeah, you can see the skies are gray. The water still kind of looks pretty, doesn't it? It's not that clear water you usually see, but it's still it's inviting. It's a beach. I'd still go close to the water there, but don't go too close though. I'm not gonna say you'll go close to the water. I think they closed the beaches today. I know along Alabama they put the double red flag, so the water's closed. I didn't see this one for sure. Maybe y'all have heard that if y'all are watching from Florida right now. Did they put? I'm assuming they closed all the beaches, so I don't see anyone in the water. Although that person right there is getting kind of close. The one I'm talking about is right there.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one we need to be concerned about. Don't go too far in there. The water is kind of rough. Whoa. And also, I'm a little bit concerned.
Of the current.
Yes, Jake says be careful of the current. I'm concerned about that one as well. So be smart if you're going out to the beach. The water's going to be a little bit rough out there, certainly. So just be careful and don't go too far into that water. I think they closed the water off. I'm not sure about the Florida beaches, but it still looked inviting, didn't it? A beach is a beach, and no matter what's out there, the beach looks inviting. Dana says Panama City Beach, the water is closed. Okay, so that makes sense. And I would assume if it's closed that far to the east, then all the other ones, along Fort Walton over toward Pensacola, those would probably be closed as well, I think. But I'm not certain on that, but it would make sense. Yeah, Tanya says double red flags in Panama City Beach. Okay, so just wait a day or so to get back on the beach. I know it's hard sometimes. So waters aren't safe right now. There's a pretty high rip current potential here. With that. Yep, Jake was about to warn everyone about the rip current potential. It was rough. We went to Pensacola or Perdido Key in Perdido Key at the beginning of May, and they had I think it was it yellow flags?
Yeah.
It was rough though. This is probably even rougher today though. So that's the latest on potential tropical cyclone number 3. Still not officially a depression yet, and it could become Claudette before it's all said and done. Let me see a question here. Tina asked about home. I don't know if you're still watching, but home is going to be kind of on the fringe there as far as rainfall amounts. On the edge, you can see. Let's see. Where's the rain map? Yeah. So these green areas here are okay. I mean, we're talking 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, but any shift left or right, we could see these totals go up a little bit. But as for now, it looks like a lot of southeast Louisiana may be spared the very excessive amounts of rainfall. You'll see rain, there's no doubt about it, but I think the bulk of the heavy stuff is going to be east, going toward Mississippi Gulf Coast, Alabama Gulf Coast, and over towards some of the Florida Panhandle as well. Kind of those orange and red colors that you see on here are going to be the heaviest amounts that we could see. So that's the latest on potential tropical cyclone number 3. I'll continue to keep you guys posted as we go through the day here, and give you all some looks at the radar as well as we move through the day. So everyone keep with the page, and I'll keep you all updated. And we'll see what happens. You may see it get identified as tropical depression or tropical storm Claudette, but like I told you earlier, don't be concerned about that. It's not going to change any of the impacts that we are going to see from this. The main threat is still rainfall. All of that tropical moisture you see right there in the Gulf has to go somewhere, and the only place for it to go is going to be north. So lots of rainfall coming along the coast heading into the rest of today, tonight, and probably early tomorrow as well. So thank y'all for joining. Appreciate y'all. Share the video if you think it was useful. Follow the page on YouTube. Gulf Coast Updates over on YouTube. I posted the link on the page. I'll start simulcasting over there, posting some videos over there as well. So y'all subscribe there if y'all would like. Thank y'all for watching. Jake, say goodbye.
Bye.
All right. All right, y'all.
Can't
Thanks.
really get in.
It's barely getting the screen. All right. Thanks for joining, and stay with the page, and I'll continue to keep y'all updated. Have a good day.